For those who wanted Shanks versus Luffy at some point, we will now see Luffy versus Shamrock, the evil brother of the Yonko. But what can we expect from the leader of the Holy Knights? Holy Knights who proved their worth through Gunko's powers. Well, let's talk about that in the analysis of Chapter 1137, shall we? After the intro, Chapter 1137 begins with the 23rd volume of Yamato's cover story, which many people are finding very boring. In fact, in the Japanese community, many say it's the most boring cover story ever made. In my opinion, this cover story is just moving too slowly, but it will certainly pick up. In this one, we only see Yamato and Otama secretly observing something through a window. We also see other henchmen, probably from Who's Who, spying as well. Let's hope that, starting in the next chapter, this story gains more momentum. What about you? Leave your thoughts in the comments. Are you enjoying this cover story or not? The chapter begins with Luffy, Zoro, Nami, and Road arriving at King Harold's castle. For those who don't remember, this is the same castle where the Holy Knights first appeared. Luffy is very excited to be there, mainly to retrieve the key to free Loki. I wonder if Luffy's excitement is just because Loki might give him Shanks' location. I say this because in Wano, Luffy sensed Shanks' presence. He knew it was Shanks but didn't go after him. Why such a sudden change? What happened between the end of the Wano arc and now to make Luffy decide he wants to find Shanks? Could finding Shanks just be an excuse for Luffy and his real desire is now to free Loki? That might be the case, or it could just be a narrative tool by Oda to make Luffy eventually encounter Shamrock. This would bring all the emotional weight Oda would want. Luffy, eager to meet Shanks, ends up finding his evil twin instead. By the way, I'll make another video, but I believe that if there's ever a moment for Luffy to be captured by the world government, Shamrock is the perfect character to make it happen. But I'll leave that for another analysis. Moving on, as I said in my prediction, Road serves as a kind of guide created by Oda to explain what actually happened in Elbaf during the incident involving King Harold's death. And 70% of this chapter is exactly that, Road explaining the events. One thing that caught my attention was Nami's behavior toward Road. She seems a bit more affectionate with him. Is it genuine, or is it because she knows he might lead them to the treasures of the castle? As they enter the castle, we see evidence of intense battles. I believe this power comes from Loki's hammer. If you had any hype for Loki, it can grow even more now. Loki defeated 100 giants, including his father Harald, who, according to Road, wasn't weak. Even Zoro, who, like it or not, is a power benchmark in the crew, commented that the battle must have been insane. Then we get one of the chapter's biggest revelations. As we see many giant skeletons on the ground, the result of the battle, we notice that many of these giants have horns. Road explains that giants with horns are those who carry the blood of ancient giants, like the Oars, war giants. This information is very important and opens up many possibilities, such as understanding Kaido's strength. Although he refers to himself as an Oni, I believe Oni might be a combination of ancient giants and other races. Who knows? Maybe Kaido is the son of an ancient giant and a buccaneer. This would explain his insane strength. There are many possibilities that this information raises. Road then finds a portrait of King Harold, and when we see this king, I must confess, he looked truly powerful. Interestingly, he had horns but removed them. As mentioned in previous chapters, Harold had a more pacifist nature and wanted to lead Elbaf into an era of peace, even opening it to the rest of the world, a wish very similar to Odin's. I wonder if Harold had a genuine desire or if, in reality, he was a traitor to his people and wanted to ally with the world government. Another note here, doesn't King Harold look a lot like Kaido? I wonder if removing his horns is Oda's way of hiding this information, as his horns might have been identical to the former Yonkos. You can bet the theory of Harold being Kaido's father will gain even more traction. After all, King Harold had another son besides Loki, Hadrudin, who was born from Harold's union with another giant. However, since she wasn't of pure lineage, she couldn't be queen, and Hadrudin couldn't join the royal family either. By the way, we see here a major issue among the giants. They seem to be very prejudiced even among themselves. I believe this theme will be further explored. We also learn more about Hajruddin's relationship with Road and the moment Hajruddin invited Road to join him. Hajruddin will be the great hero of this arc. Mark my words. His dream is to become king of the giants and bring harmony to all giant tribes, a dream fully supported by Road. To wrap up this major part of the chapter, we see that Luffy has encountered some giants. These are likely the ones defeated by Gunko. They will probably warn him about the hooded intruders. In the next chapter, Luffy should become aware of the enemies. I believe the encounter between them will happen very soon. Speaking of the hooded intruders, let's move on to the second part of the chapter, where we see Gunko torturing Loki to force him to join the Holy Knights. We learn a bit more about the powers of the Holy Knight, who possesses a very tricky ability. From what I understand, her power is based on her arrow indicating where the attack will land, with a major twist. The attack cannot be avoided. It's almost like a guaranteed hit, similar to what we've seen in Jujutsu Kaisen. We also see Gunko's complete mastery of this arrow, which I believe comes from the Arrow Nomi, the arrow fruit. But here's a theory. I think her power isn't just awakened, but has also been enhanced by Imusama. Yes, this chapter makes me believe that Imusama can amplify the powers of a devil fruit, which seems to be the case with Gunko. By the way, when Loki complains about being imprisoned, Shamrock says nothing would change if he were free. Is Shamrock speaking only because he is present, or does he believe Gunko could defeat an enemy with a 2 billion berry bounty? If he's referring solely to Gunko, we might need to raise the Holy Knight's level of power even higher. And speaking of Shamrock, it's time to talk about the chapter's standout character. We finally get the answer to chapter 907, where we saw Shanks in a surprising meeting with the Gorosei. But as some theories suggested at the time, it was confirmed. It wasn't Shanks, but his twin brother. His name is Shamrock, the other Figarland son. This brings us some answers. Aside from confirming it was Shamrock who spoke with the Gorosei, despite some still believing it was Shanks because of the detail of the white collar, I believe it really was Shamrock. His formal manner of speaking doesn't align with Shanks' personality at all. Additionally, Shamrock has longer hair and a slightly fuller beard. This reveal confirms Shanks' connection to the Figarland family. Even though this was almost certain, many doubted it, but now it's clear. In chapter 1096, when Garling said, "Observe children," he was indeed speaking to his two sons, Shanks and Shamrock. Most likely, Garling managed to save one of his sons while the other ended up inside a chest found by Roger, which explains Shanks' origin. Another question that arises is just how powerful Shamrock is. In the November Q&A with Oda, someone asked if Garling was strong, and Oda said yes. His strength had a reason. I believe this is due to the Figarland family's special lineage, something both Shanks and Shamrock share. In summary, Shamrock is extremely powerful. I don't think he's on Shanks' bet level, as Shanks was trained by the Pirate King, but Shamrock must be slightly less powerful. At this point, he might even be on par with Yonko Luffy's strength. The fight between Luffy and Shamrock is bound to be epic. I'll make a video dedicated to this topic. Shamrock then says he wanted to resolve this peacefully, but it seems that won't happen. He plans to contact Mary Geoas. I believe he will ask for authorization to subjugate Elbaf by force, as their prince refused to join the Holy Knights. The battle between the Holy Knights and Elbaf is about to begin, and I wouldn't rule out the possibility of all the other Holy Knights being called in. After all, they can move just like the Gorosei, using the magical circle. Additionally, the chapter ends with the phrase, "The Holy Knights make their move." Remember that Dragon said he was waiting for this to happen so the revolutionaries could act. Yonko crews, Holy Knights, and revolutionaries on the grand battlefield of war. Could this be the beginning of the final war? That's it, folks. There's still so much to discuss about this chapter, but I'll save that for other theory videos. What are your thoughts on this chapter? What's your rating for it? Leave your opinions in the comments. If you enjoyed the video, leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications. See you next time, and thanks for watching. Let me know if you